I never thought my voice would carry this far. I never imagined that the story of one shattered soldier, one forgotten survivor, one man left to die in the ruins of a war he never asked for, would become the spark that lit a fire across an entire nation. But life has a strange way of turning grief into fuel, pain into purpose, wounds into weapons. And so tonight, I stand before you not as a victim, but as the man who watched the biggest Russian training ground vanish in minutes under a sky lit by ATACMS fire, and lived to tell the tale. This is not merely a story of war, but this is the story of betrayal, deception, heartbreak, revenge, and the lessons carved into my soul by fire, steel, and fate. So listen closely, because everything I once believed, everything I once trusted, everything I once loved was burned away in the strike. It should have killed me. The training ground had a name once, a location. Coordinates. A reputation for being untouchable. We were told it was safe, the safest place left on this cursed front. That's how betrayal begins, not with lies, but with comfortable truths. I remember the mud under my boots, the cold air, the sound of engines starting at dawn, thousands of men, armored vehicles, ammo depots, fuel convoys, all gathered in one enormous place. We were told was invisible to the enemy. Invisible. I should have known better. War teaches you that the moment you're told something is impossible, it's probably already happening. And in those days, we were still naive enough to believe in safe zones, to believe our leaders knew what they were doing. To believe we were more than disposable pieces on a board. The irony? I wasn't even supposed to be there that morning. I had been transferred to the rear after surviving the last ambush. My commanding officer said I needed rest, but rest in war is a myth, and fate always finds those it needs. First hint, the first whisper of betrayal, came the night before the strike. We received encrypted messages warning that high-value targets were being concentrated in one area. Too many officers, too many precious assets, too many secrets in one place. Someone, somewhere, was planning something. Why gather everyone here? I'd asked my lieutenant. His answer? Orders, but something in his eyes trembled. He didn't believe it either. That's lesson number 1. Never follow a leader whose voice shakes when he says, "Trust me." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something in my bones felt wrong, like the earth itself was holding its breath. It happened in an instant. 1 second, the training ground was alive. Engines roaring, men shouting, smoke rising from mess tents, officers arguing in headquarters, radios buzzing with static. The next second, silence. A low hum filled the sky, like the air itself was cracking. I looked up, and I saw them, bright streaks slicing through the darkness. Silent at first, then screaming with the sound of fate ripping open. ATACMS. A word I'd only heard in intelligence briefings. Weapon I'd never seen in person. A storm I never wanted to face. Time didn't slow down. It stopped. For a moment, everything became too clear, too sharp, too real. The faces of the men around me, the trembling in their eyes, the sudden realization that death had finally found us. Then the world erupted. Fire, light, pressure, wall of force so powerful it tore trucks apart like paper. The ground heaved. Metal broke. Tense, evaporated. Buildings collapsed. I was thrown backward, slammed into the mud, covered in shards of steel and earth. The biggest training ground, the pride of our command. The fortress we thought couldn't be touched was gone. In minutes. Not in a battle, not in a siege. Not in a heroic fight, but in an instant. Wiped clean by a sky full of fire. I woke to silence. Not the silence of peace, the silence of death. Smoke drifted across. The ruins. Fires burned in the craters. Men screamed for help. Others didn't scream at all. Somewhere in the rubble, A radio crackled with frantic voices. How did they know the exact coordinates? We were compromised. Someone leaked everything. This wasn't a strike. It was an execution. Execution. That word carved itself into my mind, because suddenly everything made sense. The forced relocation, the mass gathering of troops. The perfect, concentrated target. Someone didn't just make a mistake. Someone sold us out. That's lesson number 2. Asterisk, asterisk. Sometimes your worst enemy isn't the one you're fighting. It's the one who smiles beside you. Asterisk, asterisk, among the ruins. I found him, the man I trusted most, my brother, in arms, my closest friend, Ivan, he was pinned. Under a collapsed vehicle, barely conscious, blood pouring from wounds too deep to fix. Why? He whispered. Why were we all put here? They knew. Someone knew. I held his hand. The ground trembled again as secondary explosions tore through the depot. I'm sorry, I whispered. For what? He asked. For not seeing it sooner. For not realizing we were puppets in a game played by men who would never bleed for their decisions. He smiled weakly. You always were smarter than the officers, he murmured. Then his grip went limp, and a part of me died with him. Grief is strange. Some people drown in it. Some people freeze. Some people break. But some become something else entirely. Something sharp. Something relentless. Something fueled by purpose instead of mercy. I buried my friend under the broken sky. Not because it was safe. Not because it was practical. But because anger demanded it. Swore over his grave that I would uncover the truth. Who betrayed us. Who traded our lives for their politics. Who orchestrated the massacre disguised as strategy. And most importantly, who would pay? As I searched the ruins, patterns emerged. Files missing from headquarters. Hard drives destroyed before the strike. Officers evacuated early for a meeting. Radio logs altered. Orders without signatures. Everything pointed to one conclusion. Someone knew the ATACMS were coming. Someone wanted the training ground wiped out. Someone needed witnesses erased. But I survived. And fate does not like loose ends. That's lesson number 3. Asterisk, asterisk. If you want to kill a man, kill him. If you let him crawl out of the fire, he will come. For you, I walked away from the ashes with nothing. No unit, no orders, no allegiance. But I walked away with purpose. Every step I took was driven by the memory of men, betrayed by their own leaders. Every breath carried the smoke of the Foy. Training ground. Every heartbeat echoed the explosions that erased my past. I dedicated my life to exposing the truth, not to destroy for destruction's sake, but to make sure no more soldiers died believing lies. My revenge wasn't chaos. My revenge was justice. When you survive something meant to erase you, you learn things you can't learn in any school, any book, any peaceful life. Lesson 1. Never trust a place simply because someone calls it safe. The deadliest betrayal comes from those who act like they care. Your pain can bury you, or it can build you. Revenge is not anger. It is clarity sharpened by purpose. Every ending is a beginning disguised as loss. If fate leaves you alive after the fire, it's because you're meant to change something. So here I stand, alive, scarred, changed forever. I watched the biggest Russian training ground vanish in minutes. Walked through the ashes of betrayal. I buried my closest friend. I hunted the truth. Rebuilt myself from scorched earth. I learned something so powerful that it rewired my soul. Asterisk, asterisk. You cannot control what tries to destroy you, but you can control what you become after surviving it. Asterisk, asterisk. I became a voice for the voiceless. A witness to the truth they tried to bury. Fire they failed to extinguish. And if you, whoever you are, wherever you are standing in the ruins of your own life, if you feel like the world has collapsed around you, if you believe the strike is already hit, and you have nothing left. Remember this. Hash, 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 asterisk, asterisk, the same fire that burns you can forge you. Asterisk, asterisk, the same darkness that blinds you can sharpen your vision. The same betrayal that breaks your heart can awaken your purpose. And sometimes you have to lose everything to become the person you were meant to be. I am the survivor of a battlefield they tried to erase. I am the witness to a truth they tried to bury. I am the voice rising from the ashes. And so are you. Asterisk, asterisk, stand up. Rise again. Rebuild yourself. And turn your broken pieces into the sharpest weapon fate has ever seen. Asterisk, asterisk. This is not the end. This is your beginning. Thank you.